Port Charles ablaze, a night of betrayal, overdose, and a city on the brink. The air in Port Charles, a city perpetually teetering on the edge of drama, crackled with an unprecedented tension. A single night, a maelstrom of events, would leave an indelible scar on its inhabitants, particularly the powerful Corinthos family, who found themselves at the epicenter of a meticulously orchestrated storm of betrayal and violence. Two horrific tragedies, unfolding in frighteningly close succession, plunged the city into a state of chaos and fear. A beloved community hub was reduced to ashes, and a life hung precariously in the balance, the victim of a devastating overdose. As the embers of one tragedy still glowed, the flames of another ignited, painting a horrifying picture of a city under siege and leaving its residents to grapple with a chilling question: who was pulling the strings, and what was their ultimate endgame? The tragic descent of Natalia Ramirez. The night's descent into darkness began with a confrontation simmering with unspoken emotions and raw pain. Natalia Ramirez, a woman already grappling with the immense pressure of her past, confronted Sonny Corinthos, the man she believed held the key to her future. In her eyes, Sonny's actions were a betrayal of the deepest kind. She had risked everything for him, leaked his medical condition to Sidwell Media, a desperate act born out of a misguided belief that it would somehow bind them together. But Sonny, a man who values loyalty above all else, saw her actions as a grave transgression. The confrontation was a clash of two worlds. Natalia, clinging to a fragile hope for a life with Sonny, saw her dreams crumbling before her. Sonny, burdened by the weight of his criminal empire and the constant threats to his family, was forced to make a difficult decision. He offered her a way out, a chance to start a new life with a substantial sum of money. To him, it was a gesture of protection, a way to shield her from the dangerous world he inhabited. But to Natalia, it was a dismissal, a final, crushing rejection. The money felt like a severance package for a love that had never truly existed in his eyes. Haunted by Sonny's words and the specter of a lonely future, Natalia spiraled into a vortex of despair. The voice message she left for her daughter, Blaze, was a heartbreaking testament to her fractured state of mind. Her words were slurred, her voice thick with a cocktail of alcohol and anguish. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice barely coherent. "I didn't mean for it to go this way. Please forgive me. Tell Allegra I tried." The message was a desperate cry for help, a final, fragmented confession of a woman on the brink. The scene that awaited Blaze in her mother's apartment was a tableau of utter tragedy. Natalia, once a vibrant and strong woman, was found unresponsive, surrounded by empty pill bottles and the lingering scent of alcohol. The race to General Hospital was a frantic blur of flashing lights and wailing sirens. Doctors fought to save her, but the prognosis was grim. The prolonged lack of oxygen had caused significant brain damage, leaving her in a coma, her future hanging by a thread. The question of whether Natalia would ever wake up, and what kind of life she would have if she did, cast a long, dark shadow over the night's unfolding events. The flames of hatred, the fall of Charlie's pub. As one life teetered on the precipice, another tragedy was about to ignite across town. Charlie's pub, a cherished landmark and a safe haven for the LGBTQ+ community, was a symbol of hope and acceptance in Port Charles. Kristina Corinthos Davis, Sonny's daughter, had poured her heart and soul into rebuilding the pub, transforming it into a vibrant community space. But on this fateful night, her sanctuary would become a target. The attack was swift and brutal. Two masked figures, their identities shrouded in darkness, descended upon the pub with a sinister purpose. Security footage would later reveal their chilling actions. They doused the floors and walls with gasoline, their movements deliberate and precise. A firebomb, a Molotov cocktail of hatred, was hurled through a window, and the pub erupted in flames. Kristina, who had stayed late to clean up after a community event, was trapped inside. The air, once filled with the sounds of laughter and music, was now thick with acrid smoke. She was thrown backward by the force of the explosion, pinned beneath a fallen beam, her cries for help swallowed by the roaring inferno. In a twist of fate, Blaze, still reeling from the discovery of her mother's overdose, was nearby. She heard the explosion and the faint cries for help. Without a moment's hesitation, she ran towards the flames, her own grief momentarily eclipsed by a surge of adrenaline. With a strength she didn't know she possessed, she pulled Kristina from the wreckage, dragging her to safety just as the ceiling collapsed behind them. The aftermath was a scene of devastation. Charlie's pub, a beacon of light in the community, was now a smoldering ruin. Kristina was rushed to General Hospital with burns, smoke inhalation, and a suspected concussion. The investigation into the firebombing began immediately, with Anna Devane and Harrison Chase leading the charge. The attack was clearly not a random act of vandalism. It was a targeted assault, a hate crime designed to terrorize and intimidate. The question of who was behind it, and whether it was connected to the attack on Natalia, sent a shiver of fear through the heart of Port Charles. The Corinthos fortress under siege. For Sonny Corinthos, the night was a waking nightmare. Two women he cared for, in their own complex ways, were now fighting for their lives. The attacks were a direct assault on his world, a clear message that his enemies were closing in. His usual calm demeanor was replaced by a simmering rage and a growing sense of paranoia. Sonny, a man who has built an empire on strength and control, found himself in a position of utter vulnerability. He paced the hospital corridors, his mind racing, trying to piece together the puzzle. He knew the attacks were connected, that someone was systematically targeting the people he loved to get to him. His conversation with his lawyer, Diane Miller, was filled with a cold, hard resolve. This wasn't random, he insisted. It was personal. Sonny's vow of retribution was swift and unwavering. He would find who was responsible, and he would make them pay. He turned to his most trusted allies, Jason Morgan and Dex Heller, his voice laced with a dangerous edge. He was a man pushed to his limits, a lion protecting his pride, and his enemies had just made a fatal mistake. The Corinthos Empire, a fortress that had stood strong for years, was under siege, and Sonny was ready to go to war. Cracks in the foundations, love and betrayal in Port Charles. The night's tragedies sent shockwaves through the personal lives of many in Port Charles, exposing the cracks in their relationships and forcing them to confront their own demons. The already strained marriage of Curtis and Portia Ashford reached a breaking point. Their argument, fueled by Curtis's frustration and Portia's desperation, was a painful reminder of the secrets and lies that had plagued their relationship. Jordan Ashford's unexpected arrival, interrupting a moment of near intimacy, only served to highlight the unresolved love triangle that continued to haunt them. In the midst of the chaos, a new connection began to form. Michael Corinthos, grappling with the trauma of his sister's attack and his mother-in-law's overdose, found solace in the company of Sasha Gilmore. Their shared grief and vulnerability created a bond between them, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Meanwhile, other relationships were being tested. Chase, torn between his duty as a police officer and his loyalty to the Corinthos family, found himself in a difficult position. His wife, BLQ, questioned his silence and his secretive phone calls, a sign of the growing distance between them. Anna, consumed by the investigation, clashed with Turner over Sonny's potential involvement, their professional disagreement mirroring the personal tensions that simmered beneath the surface. The events of the night served as a stark reminder of the fragile nature of love and trust. As the city reeled from the attacks, its residents were forced to confront their own vulnerabilities and the secrets that threatened to tear them apart. Whispers of the future, unanswered questions, and looming threats. As the sun rose over a battered and bruised Port Charles, the questions far outnumbered the answers. The investigation into the firebombing and Natalia's overdose was just beginning, but the clues pointed to a larger, more sinister conspiracy. The masked men who attacked Charlie's pub remained at large, their identities a mystery. And the question of who was pulling the strings, who was the mastermind behind this campaign of terror, hung heavy in the air. Spoilers for the upcoming episodes suggest that the drama is far from over. Jason will warn Sonny about a curveball, a sign that their enemies are not yet finished. Alexis Davis, still grieving the loss of her daughter, Sam's father, will find herself drawn into the investigation, her legal expertise and her personal connection to the Corinthos family making her a key player. And Marco Rios, Natalia's son, will be on a desperate quest to find his mother, a journey that could lead him into the heart of the danger. The city of Port Charles is on high alert, its residents bracing for the next attack. The Corinthos family, for so long the untouchable power in the city, is now facing its greatest threat yet. The coming days will be a test of their strength, their loyalty, and their ability to survive in a world where danger lurks around every corner. Conclusion: a night of unimaginable horror has left Port Charles reeling. A vibrant young woman's life hangs in the balance, a beloved community landmark lies in ashes, and a powerful family is under siege. The events that unfolded have exposed the dark underbelly of the city, a world of secrets, betrayal, and violence. The coming weeks will be a long and arduous journey for the residents of Port Charles as they struggle to come to terms with the tragedies that have befallen them. The search for answers will be relentless, the quest for justice unwavering. And as the city holds its breath, waiting for the next shoe to drop, one thing is certain: the landscape of General Hospital has been irrevocably altered, and the lives of its characters will never be the same again. The storm has just begun, and the fallout will be felt for a long, long time to come. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.